Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. Let me get all of my info up here because I know I need to stay on track when I go live because I will just be just a talking. I hope everyone had a good day and a good week. Ugh, I've been having issues with my eyes. Ugh, my goodness, it's annoying. Okay, let me see. Mm, I need to pull up some things that I want to show you guys. So let me do that. If you are here and you're watching me, please say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're viewing from. I love to know where my people are. What else did I want to pull up? Let me see. Sample. This sample here. Nope, that's not it. Where is that? Let me go on here and download it. That's not what I wanted to show you guys. Let me go on here. So give me a second. I'm going to share our topic for tonight. For those of you who are viewing for the very first time, my name is Bergeau. I'm also known as B. Elise, and I am the owner of B. Elise Notary Services, as well as the founder and president of the Notary Education Group, Inc., a nonprofit notary academy. And every Sunday, I come live on here, our YouTube channel, to share with you guys notary and business related topics, tips, and answer your questions in real time. And tonight's discussion. Oh, hello, Renee from Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome. Tonight, guys, is a topic that was brought on by a customer that I had visit this week. And then also talks about some of the posts that I've seen in a Facebook group that I'm a part of. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight because I don't understand why people do what they do. It's just. So, in any event, let's get into it. So, tonight's topic is you are one stamp and one signature, guys, away from losing your notary commission. All right. So, you want to avoid these mistakes. And I don't know why notaries keep making these mistakes. Okay. So, let me pull up my topic so I can get right to it. All right. So first and foremost, we all need to know the difference between a valid notarization and an invalid notarization. It's not hard. It's not. All of us should know, okay, that when you decide to become a notary, all right, there's an application process that you have to go through the Secretary of State. And on the application, and some states you have to go before the clerk and the what is it? You have to recite an oath or whatever. So in any event, on the application and during an oath, you are saying that you have reviewed and understand the state statutes for which you, the notary, are to abide by being commissioned. And there are too many notaries who are not reading the state statute, because if you were reading the state statute, you would know that what a valid notarization is and an invalid notarization. Now, I know a lot of the state rules can be a little vague, but we, for the most part, know what a valid notarization is and an invalid notarization is. Let me speak to Michael. Hold on, guys. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining us tonight. A valid notarization, all right, is one where you complete a notarial certificate. You know the little verbiage, the little block that belongs on a notary certificate. All right. After you have properly ID'd a person, hold on. After you have properly ID'd a person, right? And you want to make sure that all of the required information is there. All right. And most importantly, the signer who signature you are authenticating or notarizing, they need to be there with you in person. All right, you got to see them. Now, in person can be physical presence or online presence, depending on what state you are in. All right, an invalid notarization is one where you are missing that certificate verbiage. There is no notarial block. You just decided that you are going to stamp the document and sign it. All right. You haven't ID'd the person, they have not appeared before you. Somebody just told you that so and so signed and they need you to notarize this and they can't be here right now. And lastly, performing an act where you have them backdate some stuff or you're backdating your notarization, all of these things are invalid, guys. Okay. This is why it's important to keep a journal, right? Because you do have some states where it's not required. And so notaries are like, all right, well, I ain't got to keep one, so I'm not going to keep one. I mean, what are the chances that somebody's going to request my journal? Okay. Now, I'm going to show you guys why I am kind of upset about this. So I had a customer come in this week and they are a landlord and they had a lease signed by a tenant, and the tenant decided that they were going to stay 1 month and then leave and not pay rent. So the landlord comes to me with the lease and they printed out a signature page. Somebody signed the signature page as a tenant and he signed it as a landlord. So he's asking me, can I notarize the lease? And so I told him that I asked him, whose signature is this? He was like, well, the tenant, I don't know where she is. I can't find her. And I gave her the page that had the stamp on it. And I took a picture of it. So he wants me to print out the picture that he took of the signature page with the notary stamp on it. And I want to show you guys what this page looked like. Let me share my screen. Now, this is not the actual page. I recreated the page, so it looks exactly like this. It's just different names, obviously, right? But everything else is the same. Hi, Stephanie. Let me share my screen so I can show you guys what he showed me. All right. So let's make this big enough so that we all can see. What does it fit to width? There we are. All right. So y'all see this document here? The customer had a picture of the lease that was signed by the landlord himself and the tenant. It was dated for March 10th, 2025, and the notary stamped the paper and signed it. Now, can you guys please tell me in the comments what is wrong with this notarized document that you see before you? Now, I'm going to make it a little smaller again because I want you guys to be able to see the whole thing. Please tell me what you see wrong with this notarization. While you guys are typing the answer, I was explaining to him that I can only notarize his signature. Now I said what can happen is that I can notarize your signature, and then the other person can appear before another notary, or they can come back to me, and then I can notarize their signature. That's typically how you would do it. If it's called a split signing. If the person can't appear, if both of them can't appear before you at the same time, you can notarize one person's signature. You just need to make sure that your notarial information states that name, which is the person who appeared before you. So he didn't want that. He's like, no, I can't find this person. I need both of our signatures notarized because I need to go to, take them to court or whatever. I need to try to get my money. And so again, I explained to him, I can't do that. And he's like, well, what am I to do? I said, well, unfortunately, the only thing that you can do is you can contact the court of the clerk or the clerk of the court, however it's supposed to be said, and they are going to tell you what they can do. And so he's like, well, can I just call the police? And I'm like, well, the police really aren't going to do anything because legally tenants have rights too. Okay. But he did tell me that when his wife went to the home, that the tenants were no longer there and that they left a letter on the door with the phone number saying you can get your money by calling this number. He called the number. The people said, we don't got no money. We have no money for you. So, in the grand scheme of things, this lease did not require a notarization. Okay. Um, People can take the extra step to have a document notarized because they want to have a witness, okay, which is us, the notary, a witness to say that this person did appear before them, this person understood what they were signing, and they signed it willingly. Unfortunately, though, if this document did require to be notarized, it would not hold up in court. And I'm still waiting to hear the answers in the comments here. I want you guys to tell me what's wrong with this document. And why do you think it wouldn't hold up in court if it was a document that was required to be notarized? I'm going to give you guys some time. All right, here goes Stephanie. Let me, can I find my cursor? The first thing is that there is notarized certificate, so the stamp is invalid. Oh, Stephanie, I don't understand that. I know what you're saying though. Stephanie is right. There is no notary certificate, no notary verbiage. So we do not know when the document was notarized, who the document was notarized for, what date the document was notarized. We don't know if this person appeared before that notary physically or online. And the only thing we do know is what notary notarized the document because their stamp is on there. So the reason why it would not be valid or hold up in court is because it's not a valid notarization. And this is why it's super important for you guys to read your state statute. In no state statute does it say that a notary is valid without notary verbiage saying what happened, when, where, what notarization type. We are not to ever stamp a document and sign it without notary verbiage. Now, the only thing I can say is maybe the notary treated this as a notary verbiage here. The tenant acknowledges receiving a duplicate copy of this lease signed by the tenant and the landlord on 10 day of March 2025. All right. But, okay, so it says acknowledged and it has a date. So I would give them the benefit of the doubt for that part. But where did you notarize this, honey? What who signature did you notarize? Did you notarize both of their signatures or one? This is why it's important when you have a notary certificate or a verbiage attached that you do write the signer's name, because if you do not put whose signature you're notarizing, it's assumed that you notarize the signature of every person who signed. So we don't know anything about this. Now, what will happen is if this document was required to be notarized and it went to court, the attorney will have a field day because the attorney's job is to read our statutes. Okay, this document was notarized. Let me read their statutes to make sure that they perform the duties that, how the state says that it's supposed to be performed. Right away, we see that this is missing a whole lot of stuff. All right. The attorney has all the information they need to file a complaint on the notary, to bring up charges against the notary. All they need is a copy of this document and the notary's information, which is right on the notary seal. All right. Now I put a fake stamp on here, but on the document that he showed me, it has the notary's name, their commission number, their expiration date, This notary's commission expires in 2027. I know by being a Florida notary that our term is 4 years. So this notary is not brand spanking new. This notary has been doing this for 2 years. For 2 years, you've been notarizing documents with just a stamp and a signature. I wonder how many other documents she messed up. This is why you guys have to read. Like I don't understand how you become a notary and you feel like I don't have to read nothing. Yes, you do. You have to read. You have to know how to read. You need to know what you can and cannot do. All right? Reading your state statutes is super important. It will protect you. That and having insurance. But why get insurance and have to use it? Why risk losing your commission? Because you signed on your application. Here in Florida, we do not have to be placed under oath. So when we sign our application, we sign and we take an oath. We sign that we took an oath saying that we swear that we reviewed the state statutes. It says it right there on the application. And if you don't believe me, you can pull it up on the internet. So this bothers me so much when I see stuff like this. Okay. Stephanie, let's see. She says, we don't know if this is a jury acknowledgement. We don't have any information whatsoever. The 9 elements are not complete, and they're not. And if you are a Florida notary and you do not know what the 9 elements is, this is proof that we are not reading our state statutes because every Florida notary knows what the 9 elements are. This document will not hold up in court, so the landlord will have nothing to fight with and lose money. True, but Stephanie, this document it's not required to be notarized. So this person could still be able to take it to court. But what this person could do is because their intended purpose of having it notarized was not done correctly, they can still file a complaint on this notary. And the notary would have to produce evidence of what they did. I am almost certain that this notary does not keep a journal because a notary keeping a journal is not going to notarize a document like this, in my opinion. What do you guys think? The notary needs to have their commission suspended pending more training. You know what I think? What I wish, and I was doing some research on it this weekend. I wish that for our notary commission that we were required to acquire continuing education credits or units in order to reapply. Like as a medical assistant, I have to have 10 CEUs before I can renew my medical assistant certification. And I think that they should do the same thing for notary. And I think that we should be required to review the statutes and we should be able to sign under penalty of perjury that we have reviewed our state statutes every term, okay, to refresh, because some people read it one time and never look at it again. They've been notaries for 20 years and they never look at that statute again. We should be required to do that. And I think that for signing agent, instead of us just doing a background check and taking the same exact test every freaking year, because it's the same test, I think that we should be required to do CEUs. And the CEUs should involve any continued learning that relates to notary. So it doesn't have to just be notary related. It should be law related too, because we need to know about the laws and how serious it is for us to not be notarizing documents correctly. If you are getting into this field because you just want to make some quick money, you are putting yourself in harm's way. You really are. Because if you're not concerned with notarizing documents correctly so that people can use it for the intended purposes, then you are really not doing you're not doing a good thing at all. I had a person comment on one of my posts, and they said, so many notaries are doing all of this marketing and everything, and they really aren't convincing anyone to use them. They said anybody can become a notary, anybody can become a real estate agent. All you got to do is apply, and they will give it to you. And they're saying, but we really don't know what we are getting ourselves into when we decide to work with people, and that's true. It really is true. There are some people who just don't care enough about what they're doing. They only are looking at the money. And that is the wrong thing to do. And you have people in every field, it's not just notary, people who became doctors just because of the money, nurses. And you can tell by the way they treat people, the way they act. And it's sad. It's sad. But that's why when I hear stories like this, I come online to share with you guys because I need for you guys to know that this happens in a real life. Okay. I even know people who have had terrible notary experiences where they lost everything, you know what I'm saying, or something very important was very delayed because of a notary, and it's not funny. It's not funny. It's nothing we should take lightly. Stephanie says we need them to assign CEUs to renew our commission. Yes, I have to do mine every 2 years for my life insurance license. See, and notary shouldn't be any different. It really shouldn't. Just like real estate, because we do a lot of real estate closings, we should have some knowledge on that too. Although, it's not really important for us to know it the way that the real estate people know it, but we should know it to some degree because it's important. We're notarizing deeds. All right, so I'm going to go into um, my next topic. So I was in a notary group, and I'm still waiting for you guys to respond to that. I needed you guys to tell me why that notarization, hi Carrie, why that notarization was invalid and why that document would not hold up in court if it was required to be notarized. I know me and Stephanie talked about it, but I really need for you guys to chime in because if you guys don't know, that scares me. That scares me a lot by you not responding. It means that you don't know, and that's not good. All right. So, my next topic, I was in a notary group and I saw that a notary, I think she's in Tennessee, she notarized California documents. It was a California deed, and the deed was rejected by the county. And the reason why it was rejected because um, she added a loose certificate for her state, which is what we're supposed to do. But for California, they're just really strict. California, they would prefer that you edit the notary certificate as opposed to replacing it totally. And so one of the notaries says that they leave the certificate as is, and all they do is change the location. And that is what I do as well. But I can't leave it as is because this notary certificate is missing some of the elements that is required by Florida notaries. Now, you have to make sure, no matter what state the document is going to be used in, that you always follow your state statutes when it comes to notarizing the documents. Okay. I'm not a California notary, so I'm not going to notarize it the way a California notary has to. I'm going to notarize it the way a Florida notary has to because I'm a Florida notary. And I'm going to show you guys what I do. So this is a general acknowledgement for California. And these are typically the way that you will see it presented on a deed in California. All right. So what I do is, let me see if it'll let me. Let me pull my tools back. Is it going to let me write on this? It won't. All right, let me do something here. I have to save it as a PDF so I can write on it. Give me a second, guys. Sample CA acknowledgement. All right, let's try to pull this up again. All right, and let's get rid of that one. All right, this one will let me write on it. Uh-oh, hold on. Well, let me write on it. Oh, yeah, it will. Okay. So this is how I treat this certificate. All right. And all right. So did you guys see what I just did? I just added my missing elements to this document. Okay. Put my little signature here, and I'm going to put my seal. I have a little sample seal that I use for these type of demonstrations. Uh, delete that. Delete it. All right. I just want to make this a little bigger. All right. Oh, I forgot to put the name of the person. Hold on. Here. Um, Jane Smith. And my initials. I'm missing my initials here. And I got one more space I have to add my initials. Hold on. What happened? Let's make it a little smaller. I have to make another correction because they have California here. Yeah. Okay. Florida there. And my initials here. All right. So did you guys see what I just did there? This document will not be rejected when it goes to the county in California to be recorded because I kept their certificate as is and I just added my missing elements. Let me open this a little bigger so you guys can see that. Um, fit to width. All right. So here, let me count on my elements first. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Signature is 5. Printed name is 6. Stamp is 7. Appear physical presence is 8. ID produced is 9. I have all 9 elements here. So this document is valid for me as a Florida notary. It will also be accepted in California because I didn't replace their whole certificate. That, they have very strict um, instructions when it comes to, or requirements, I'm sorry, when it comes to their documents, okay, and what it needs to look like when it's notarized. But as you can see, I made it work. So you don't have to replace this. You just have to just fill it out and make sure that anything that doesn't belong, you cross it out, put your initials, and anything that's missing, you add it. All right. This is why I have for Florida, for my students, the notary supplies, I have the element stamps for you guys so that if you are missing anything, if you don't want to write it in because you got the terrible handwriting like I do, you can stamp it and fill it out. Okay. But if I didn't have a stamp for all of this missing elements, I will write it in and it will be accepted, ugly and all. All right. So please do not see a California acknowledgement and look into the California state statutes trying to perform the notary the way that a California notary would if you're not a California notary. All right. If you are a notary of any other state, you have to follow your guidelines. Okay. Use the certificate, add what's missing, cross out what doesn't need to be there for your notary guidelines. All right. Everybody understand that? There's even some extra stuff on here, where you would end up crossing out. So my signer is a she. So I would cross this out as well. You know, it's an individual, so we don't need plural there. What else? Right here. And right here, you know. And I don't always cross this out either. I mean, you can. I'm just doing it for, purposes of this video, just showing you some other stuff that, you can do. But I'll just leave this as is, you know. So everybody understands, okay, that we are acting in our capacity as a notary in our state. We're not performing notarizations as a California notary unless we are a California notary. And I put the wrong day. Look at there. Ain't nobody even correct me. Y'all not paying attention? I had the wrong day here. I put the 24th. Today is 27th. And then our other one here. We know that this is not correct, right? Let me show you what the notary was supposed to do. All right. Lucy. Dang, can't spell. What's the landlord name? It was John Lemons. And the tenant's name was Rebecca Tompkins. Identification. Okay. Let's move it, I guess, here if you like. All right. And then instead of her just signing her name, let me see. Well, no, I'll just do it like this. This is how it's supposed to look here. And then my signature. All right. This is how it's supposed to look. All right. The notary could have wrote it in because she had plenty of room. She could have stamped it on there if she had a certificate stamp, or she could have attached a loose certificate, but she did not. She just stamped it and signed it. All right. Now let's count it up and make sure that I had that I had all of my elements. So I have my location. We got 1, acknowledged 2, physical presence 3, date 4, signer name 5, president ID 6, my signature 7, my printer name 8, my stamp 9. All 9 elements. So yeah, all there. Easy peasy. Nothing was difficult about that. Okay. And first and foremost, you also want to ask the signer if notary verbiage is missing, ask the signer what type of notarization they want you to perform. And the questions I always get is, which one is better? Neither one is better. but you have to choose because I can't notarize the document without verbiage, like this notary did. This notary notarized the document without any verbiage. We cannot do that. We're not supposed to do that. We also are not supposed to notarize documents for people who are not in our presence. That is against the law. And we swore under penalty of perjury that we would abide by our guidelines. And nowhere in any state does it say that we can notarize signatures for people who are not in our presence, either in person or online. Nowhere. So that's not a state specific thing. It's also not a state specific thing that you notarize documents without any verbiage being on there, without a notary act being present. That is not how you perform notarizations anywhere. So, guys, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I really hope that you all understand the seriousness behind our stamps and our signatures. All right. It's all fun and games until somebody gets sued, until there's a complaint filed against you. Okay. And it's not hard to file a complaint. It's really not. Why do you think notary certificates matter? Notary certificates matter because they tell a story. They tell what happened, what took place. And your journal explains how you performed the notarization and followed all the steps that you're supposed to. Those together need to be done correctly and need to be present all the time, no matter what you're doing. You could be talking, you could be having fun, it could be your friend, it could be your neighbor. You need to make sure that you are notarizing these documents correctly. If it takes you a little time because you don't remember, you need to jog your memory, do it. The signers don't know what you're supposed to do. The signers don't know what you have to do. They don't know how it's supposed to be done. All they know is when they see a stamp on there and your signature, they think it's done. They think that's it. You are the notary, so you know that that's not just it. All right. The certificate tells who signed, when they signed, where it happened, and what act was performed. Okay. And most importantly, who the notary was who performed this act anyway. That's what our certificates are telling the public. All right. And then you always want to double check to make sure you're filling out the certificates right, because in that one certificate, some of them have you put the notary's name and title and the signer's name, and some of them don't have you put your name and title. It just has you put the signer's name. So this is why you have to read. This is why I hate when you go on the notary groups and they're telling you you're not supposed to read the documents. Well, what do you call it when I have to read the part that I'm responsible for? What do you call that? I call that reading. What do you guys call it? Because you can't just look at it and know what to do. You have to read it and see what the certificate is. You have to read it so you can make sure that whatever it's asking you to do, that you can do it. There are many documents that I have had come across my desk that after reviewing it and looking through it, because that's my job, I can't notarize this. It may be missing pages. Like if it has page numbers at the bottom, it's missing pages. How would I know that if I didn't read? Um, there's another person that's supposed to sign. I only see one person signed. How will I know that if I don't read? You have to read the documents. You don't need to know what the documents are for. No, I don't need to know what they're for. I just need to know that they're not blank, that they're not missing information that's supposed to be there, that the people who are supposed to sign are the perfect people who are signing. You know how many times I've gotten a document come across my desk and the person's name that's on there is not the person that's before me to sign? And I would never know that if I didn't read. So stop listening to these silly people who are notarizing documents the way that this notary did, telling you what to do. All right. If you're going to follow somebody and do what they're doing, follow somebody who knows what they're doing. Follow somebody who's doing it right. somebody who's working as a notary. You have people who signed up to be a notary and they're not even working as a notary. They sign up to be a notary so they can show you that they're a notary so that they can offer you courses that ChatGPT made up. Those are the people you want to follow? You no, no, please don't. Please make sure that you are doing yourself a favor and you are reading your state statutes. Because, I mean, not only that, you don't want to just be a resource to customers, you could be a resource to clients as well. I can't tell you guys how many times I've had underwriters call me, attorneys call me, because they heard something about notary and they wanted me to explain it to them. You know why they call me? Because I'm always head first in my statutes. Always. I had my attorney client ask me about custodians for wills. They want to know how did that work. I had to explain that to them in the statute that I do not have to remain the custodian of the electronic will, that I can seize my capacity in being the custodian and I can pass it down to a successor. And it needs to be in writing. And she was like, thank you so much. So instead of her having to go to the statute to figure it all out, she asked me because she knows that I'm always looking at my statute. Not only that, she knows that I have a whole academy and that I come online to talk to you guys and teach you guys. And so to her, I'm a reliable notary resource. She stays in her lane as the attorney. She comes to me when it's related to, and she's a notary too, but she's an attorney. So she talks to me about anything that has to do with notary. Okay. I had an underwriter ask me the difference between the KBA and the biometric because they think that they were doing it wrong as far as their request, and they had no idea. So this is why it's important for you exactly. Stephanie says, subject matter expert. It's important for you to know what you're doing. Because if I can't call you, you working for me, I can't call you to be a resource in what it is that you specialize in, it may make me not want to work with you. Because if you don't know what you're doing, and you don't have to know the answer off the top of your head, but you should know where to find that state statute so that you can get the answer that they're looking for or be able to direct them to it. If you are the type of person that can read something and you can't explain it, direct them to it. They will love you for it, trust me. And you will become a preferred notary for them just simply because you know what you're talking about. You know where to find the information that they're looking for. All right, guys. So that was all I had. Did you guys have any questions? Any questions for me before I let you go? I'm sorry if you guys felt like I was being a little harsh tonight, but I can't tell you how frustrating it is for customers to come to me to have something done and for me to see that a notary has failed to operate in their capacity of notary. It just goes back to people out here trying to make a quick buck and basically making people lose all of their bucks. Like I said, thankfully, a lease agreement is not required to be notarized. So he should be okay. But if he takes this to court, if he hires an attorney, even though the document is not required to be notarized, he can still file a complaint against that notary. And he has all the information he needs to do so. All he needs is the information on that stamp. All right, Stephanie says, listen, if you are wanting to make this your business, study your state statutes. Dealing with documents takes a lot of knowledge and patience. Yes, it does. And R. Smiley says, not harsh at all. Frustration is justified. Thank you, guys. Well, guys, I am going to go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listen to me rant. I hope that the information I share with you was helpful. Okay, especially for those of you who may not be doing notary just yet, please, please read your statutes. Yes, it is a lot of information, but you will thank yourself for it later. Trust me. All right, guys, I'm going to go. Have a good night. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you guys again next Sunday. Good night, everyone. You're welcome, Michael. Good night, Stephanie. Carrie says, guys, I'm new to the industry and I want to make sure I get this right. What community groups should I follow for education? Um, First, Carrie, you should absolutely, on your own, review your state statutes. That's the first and foremost thing because unfortunately, a lot of the community groups have notaries in there who are not doing notary correctly. Okay, they are few and far in between. Um, I always encourage you to make sure that you know your state statutes. Okay, as far as community groups go, we do have a Facebook group. It's called the Notary Education Group Support Group for Notaries too. You can join that group. We share a lot of information in there and we have a chat. Stephanie mans that chat in there so that when people have questions in real time, she is more than happy to answer your questions if she gets the notification. So again, it's the Notary Education Group Support too, and it is Facebook in the Facebook on Facebook. I mean, Anita says, "Thank you for this information. I'm in the process for getting my commission in Missouri, or is that Montana? Mo is Missouri, right? I think." You are welcome, Anita. Yep, Carrie. Michael said you are in the right place. And then don't forget, I always encourage you guys to follow Perfect, Anita. Yes, perfect. Please make sure you review it and keep it on you at all times and refer to it as much as you need to. You're welcome, Carrie. Yep, we're on Facebook. We have a support group there. And I'm going to be doing some things moving, in the future because we have just become a nonprofit as of April 1st. And so my goal is to make sure that I get us together, whether it's in a virtual space or in person. And I want to be able to support you guys, because I know it's a little different when you're online like this. But I think that when people are one on one, it's just more helpful. And that's what we are planning to do in the future. We're going to try to do that this year for sure. You are welcome, Anita. She says, yes, ma'am. Thank you for your time and sharing this valuable information. Carrie and Anita, make sure you guys go on the channel and look at some of my older videos. I have a bunch. As you can see, I come on here every Sunday. For the most part, I try to make sure I notify you guys when I'm not able to come on. But for the most part, I am here Sundays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, every Sunday. And if you ever have anything that you want to talk about, please share it in our community chat on the channel. I will see it and it will help me because sometimes I do run out of stuff to talk about. But it's helpful when, unfortunately, you have customers who come in and they have a story to tell and the notary's not doing their part. All right, guys, that is my time. I'm going to log off. Oh, wait, hold on. One more. Do you have a mentorship program? So, Carrie, I do and I don't. So I don't have the mentorship program anymore, but what I do have is that I do allow you guys to give me calls. And you can schedule the call. You just have to look on my calendar and see when I'm available. And you can schedule a 30-minute call with me. And you could do that as many times as you like. honestly. I don't charge for that. Back, some time ago, I did charge for the mentorship program, but when I became a full-time notary, it was something that I could not fit in my schedule and keep up with. So I just allow you guys to call me when you need and when you want. And then as long as I have time in my schedule, you will see my availability. You could just schedule time with me. The Facebook group is really the best place for you to be because you can ask questions and you can share information in there. It's a private group. I will see it. I will respond. And then, like I said, we have a support chat, and Stephanie is really good. Like I didn't even know. I wasn't getting notifications for it, and I went in there, and Stephanie has been on it. Stephanie, thank you so much for that. Stephanie has been on it, answering everybody's questions and giving them all the information that they're requesting. All right, guys, my kids keep coming in here like, come on, mom. So I'm gonna drop off, guys. Carrie and Anita definitely asked to join the Facebook group. We are being very strategic on who we're letting in now. If people are not answering all the questions, if you're not even a notary, you're not getting in. And I have to set up a day where I will allow people to share their information because we do want notaries' contact information so that when we need a notary in a state or we need a witness in a state for a notary, we need to know who you are and how to contact you so you can get paid to help us. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to talk to my directors and we're going to decide what day is a good day for that because I have been declining so many um, posts because people just want to post their trainings every day. And I'm like, that's not about to happen in the group that I just reopened. I'm not going to have that where we're having training on every post. I want it to be a group for support, people to ask questions, for us to see your questions and be able to answer them. I can't answer your questions if I can't find it. It's getting lost in between all these training posts. So please make sure you request and we will approve you. And Anita and Carrie, now that we know who you are, we'll be looking for your name and we'll approve your member request. But please make sure you answer all the questions. Anita says she takes her oath on Thursday, so she'll be sure to request to join after that's completed. Perfect, Anita. Congratulations. I'm so excited for you. So excited. Oh, Stephanie is sharing the Facebook link for you guys. And we're trying to do this better this time around with getting people into the group because everybody and anybody was coming in there and it was just nothing but marketing. You want a social, I mean, you want a website, you want business cards, flyers, I could do this, I could do that. I'm like, oh my God. Like we need a place for that. We can't have that on every post. That's like freaking ridiculous. I'm gonna let Stephanie share the Facebook group link. And I promise I'm gonna get off. I know I keep saying I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna get off because my bedtime is supposed to be 10 o'clock. And me and the kids, we gotta go to bed so they can get up in the morning. You get the link yet, Stephanie, for Facebook group? It's the Notary Education Group Support 2. If you guys search it up, it is searchable. No, you didn't. I didn't see it. I didn't see it, Stephanie. It didn't post anyway. It just said, here's the Facebook group link. You probably pressed enter before it posted. Girl, what the heck am I putting in here? Copy and paste it again. Because it just says here is the Facebook group link and then nothing have pasted. I don't know why it's not showing up. I shared the link 2 times. Really? Oh, well, let me try to see if I could do it. Maybe it prevents it. Hmm. Oh, here it go. Support for notaries too. Share, copy. Oh, is this it then? Is that it? Let's see. Okay, that's it. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, Anita. But let's see. This is it here too. Let's delete that part off. Ah, leave my brownie alone, kitty cat. The cat trying to. Yes, Michael, I just approved you too. I just saw you just joined. That's the newest group. So it's not new. It was an old group that I had paused and I opened up a new group. And the new group got flooded with marketing and it was ridiculous. So I paused that group and I reopened up this older group. So that's why this older group has way more members because this was my very first group that I had when it was called Be At Least Notary Support Group, like in 2021 maybe or 2020. It's an old group, but I reopened it back up. So this is it. So you guys go on Facebook, search it up, and there it is. All right, guys, let me get off. You guys have a good night. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.